So, welcome everybody to November's coaching clinic. And today we're looking at confidence. Confidence as a coach, confidence as a human, confidence in whatever realm you are interested in. Today's session is going to support us looking in the direction of just tapping into that divine confidence that is within us. Um, a little bit. So I'll start with a meditation as always. I'll let you know that the next coaching clinic is Tuesday, December 2nd, and that'll be the last clinic of this year. Wow. And and I'll share just what I'm seeing around the confidence piece, and then I'll open up to your questions and see what is coming forth for you, if there's questions, if there's comments. And then I have one or two guests today, depending on time, who are just going to share with us a little bit towards the end about their own confidence and more that has awakened as a result of looking in this direction and as a result of attending our mastermind. So stay on until the end if you're able to, and get a little taste of that. Okay, so let's close our eyes. And if you can, place both feet on the ground. And let's begin to take a breath or two in through the nose and out. In through the nose and out. In through the nose and out. Feel yourself begin to settle and even sink into your chair or your sofa or wherever you are. As the belly rises up on the in-breath and down on the out-breath. Slowing down the mind as we bring our breathing to a more conscious level. And in your mind's eye, see roots coming from your feet down through the ground, down into the underground, right down to that rock at the bottom of the earth. Wrap those roots around that rock. Feel yourself become grounded there. This rock emanates golden light, the light of our true nature. See this light traveling now from the rock up through the roots, through the underground, the ground, up through the floorboards and into the soles of your feet. Set intention now with this light. What is it you'd like it to do for you today? And see it moving now through the body, each part going through the feet, the ankles, up through the front of the legs, the back of the legs, to the kneecaps, through the front of the thighs and the back, in through the spine, through the front of the hips and into the torso. Send the light up through the body, all the way up through the back of the spine to the top of the head, and all the way up through the front of the torso to the top of the head. See the light swishing now down the left side of the head and the right side of the head, down through the left shoulder and the right shoulder, down through the left arm, the left hand, and out through the fingertips, down through the right arm, to the right hand, and out through the fingertips, until our whole body is enveloped in this beautiful elixir of healing light. This light buoys us with confidence. This light supports us with healing. This light lightens our mood, our spirit, allowing us to awaken to the true feelings of well-being that lie within. Get an image of yourself now in your most confident state of mind. Notice the difference. When you're confident, you're smiling. When you're confident, you're standing up straight. When you're confident, you're relaxed in your body, not holding tension. No self-consciousness. Just a feeling of ease. Get an image of yourself now, confident with any area of your life that's important to you. See yourself there and see yourself in a confident state when you're there. Notice what's different about you. Maybe you're wearing clothes that you wouldn't usually wear. Maybe you are displaying a posture or a look that you don't normally do. Just get a sense of your confident self in those situations. In any case, you're showing up differently or more yourself. Let that image remind you of who you truly are and what's truly available as you walk towards living more from that space. Now coming back to this moment, see those roots coming from your feet, down through the ground, down into the underground, right down to that rock at the bottom of the earth. Wrap those roots around that rock. Feel yourself centered, confident, and clear. Gently moving your fingers or toes now, coming back into the space, allowing yourself to be here, to receive whatever it is you need today. So it's helpful to understand how our confidence shifts and changes. Because when you don't really know what's occurring, it can be easy to place your confidence on the outside. Like, oh, if I have enough money, I'll feel confident. Or if I just lost 10 pounds, I would feel more confident. Or if I could just get that book deal, then I'd be confident. It can be really easy, and a big one being If I just had a man in my life or a woman in my life, then I'd feel more confident. Like it can be so easy to place our confidence outside of ourselves, even even situations, if that situation just didn't happen every day of my life, then I'd be more confident. And that's a misunderstanding. It's a misunderstanding because, our circumstances are always going to shift and change, but our confidence is eternal. It's within us. So where does it go? What happens to it? How come sometimes, or maybe even a lot of the time, we're living insecure? We're living in a lack of confidence. Well, I'm going to share with you something I shared with a client earlier because she really couldn't understand how the mind was impacting her confidence. So I'll give it to you this way and see does it land. But essentially, when we're experiencing a lack of confidence, that is a great indicator that our level of consciousness has dropped. Now, the elevator of consciousness is going up and down all day. We can't control that. Our heart is beating without us controlling it. Our food is digesting without us controlling it. Our level of consciousness is moving without us controlling it. The thinking that comes in is coming in without us controlling it. Here's the good news for the control freaks like me. The good news is when we start to feel insecurity, it's an indicator that our level of consciousness has dropped. If this elevator of consciousness is going up and down all day, sometimes it's going down. And when it goes down, we experience a drop in consciousness. What does that mean? A drop in our quality of thinking. Part of that drop is a feeling of insecurity, a feeling of lack of confidence. That is our friend. That feeling is our friend. All feelings are friends. That is our friend alerting us to the fact we've dropped. That's all. It is not alerting us to the subject we're lacking confidence in. So we have a drop and we start to really get insecure about how we look, and we start to get really insecure about how much weight we've gained. We start to get really insecure about what we've been eating and drinking, as an example. We'll see, no, that's where your mind goes. Let me pay attention to the content. But what I'm inviting you to see here is that that's not the place to look. The subject that you're lacking confidence in is not the place to look. The lack of confidence is letting you know the elevator has dropped. That's all. This is good news because the elevator will always go back up. We are designed for well-being. Nobody comes into this world and says, I hope I feel worse by the time I'm dead. Or I hope nobody wakes up in the morning and says, I hope I feel worse by the end of the day. We are all wired for well-being. We're all craving what we know to be true. So see, the elevator of consciousness is designed to go back up. Now, any of you that are in this conversation, and many of you have been for quite some time, are likely to live at higher levels of consciousness. And you're also likely to notice very quickly when you've dropped into a lower state of consciousness. Noticing that allows for a rise in your consciousness and your well-being once more. People don't believe me when I say that. If you can just notice the feeling you're living in, if you notice that it's low quality, that's all you need to do. You just notice it. Don't worry, soon enough, you'll have gone back up. Why would I go back up? Is there something that I need to do? No. You'll go back up to your more innately confident level of consciousness. I love to liken it to that analogy of the Empire State Building. I somewhat took this from what I heard in one of Sydney Banks's books, I think, and then I somewhat have made it a bit more my own. But if you think about it this way, you know, when you go up the elevator on this Empire State Building, at the very top, there's a wonderful view. There's a great view. But until you get up there, and if you're on different floors of the elevator, you're going to be faced with buildings in front of you. You're not going to see Central Park. You're not going to see Macy's. You're not going to see Fifth Avenue. You're just going to see other buildings. Well, it's the same with us. When we are going, when we are in low floors of consciousness, we just see the block. We just see the thing in front of us that looks like we need to fix or get out of the way. But as we go up the elevator of consciousness, which we always will, because remember, we're wired for well-being, as we go up, now we have a much clearer view of ourselves, of our life, of our business. Guess what sort of feelings live up there? Confidence, self-assuredness, well-being, happiness, joy, peace, love, poise. So what if you could start to see that any lack of confidence in you is not about the subject that you think it's about? Oh, it's about my business. It's about because I'm afraid of going online. I'm afraid of what people are going to say. You know, it's about my weight. It's about my lack of money. No. What if you could start to see that a lack of confidence, which is really a feeling of insecurity, is just alerting you that the elevator has dropped. What do you need to do about that? Well, as soon as you notice that, it's almost automatic. It's like the button on the in the elevator goes ping and you're ready to go back up. People who don't notice they're living in a negative feeling tend to live there a lot longer than people who do. We've all become sensitive to the feeling we're living in. That's a good thing. And so our confidence can rise back up to express itself more clearly and more truly. And in that feeling, we find ourselves actioning things in a different way. In that feeling, we're hopeful. In that feeling, we're not hiding or holding back. So how do we live in that feeling more of the time? We get gentle with ourselves in the drop. There. Elevator's just gone down, no worry. We've seen it now, so that means the button's already on the way up. Nothing for me to do, nothing for me to fix. Not going to try and address world problems in this state. Soon enough, we go back up. Now, if you're in this conversation You're probably interested in living at higher levels of consciousness more of the time. That's what I aim to do with people. That's what you're probably doing with your people. So it makes no sense that any of you in this business would be fearful of a lack of confidence or would go around hiding what you've got. I say to my coaches that I'm working with, that are working along, clients that are coaches that I'm working with, you're not selling cocaine. You're not getting people hooked on something that is going to kill them or that they're going to become dependent upon. There's no reason for you to lack confidence in your offer, in your service, in your gift, in what you're sharing in the world, because you are literally selling God back to God. You are literally selling a feeling of well-being that is already in you. And in being with you, your people get to rise back up in consciousness to their level of well-being just because you're living there when you're with them. Now, you might go off your call and live in a very low level, but that's irrelevant. Most of you, I know you, you're like me, and I know you show up at your service and you're in a totally different level of consciousness when you're doing that work. That is why this is the best job in the world. That is why you love doing this. That is why there's as much rise in well-being for you as there is for your client. So now that we know why we lack confidence, can we all just get over this thing about hiding ourselves or putting pressure on ourselves to perform for our clients or stressing ourselves about being good enough as a coach or good enough as a human? There is no need for that. Most of the experience that your client is looking for is already done the minute they get on the call with you because you're living at a different level of consciousness than they are at that moment in that space. And guess what happens? They rise up. So let's begin to see that any insecurity, any feeling of pressure, stress, fear, worry is just our alarm bell. That the elevator of consciousness has taken us down to the basement. We're on the lower floors. And if we leave it alone and just notice it for what it truly is, instead of make a big fuss out of it and, you know, go and, I don't know, hire 6 personal trainers to make you get thinner in 6 days. Like if you can just see it for what it is, it's a drop. It's a drop. You're going to come back up. And when you come back up, if there's still something for you to do, if there's something you want to change about yourself, if there's something you want to change about your business, your mastermind will tell you. Your inner wisdom, what I like to call the mastermind within, will alert you. What are we hearing? I'd love to check in. What are you realizing, if anything? Or is there a question? Is there a yes, but? Is this landing in a different way, in a new way, in a deeper way? Is this hopeful? Is this confusing? Let me know. Becca, were you trying to come on?
I was trying to come on. I don't even know where my hand is. I think they've changed Zoom, haven't they, since um I was smiling all the way through that because even though I've heard it before, you do just hear it in a different way, and it just looks so true to me, Grace. I love what you said about being gentle in the drop. And
Mhm.
what came to mind for me is when we aren't aware of how we work as a human being, we're pressing that button, aren't we, in the lift, and it's malfunctioning, and we're just staying where we are because I've done that firsthand. And so I love what you shared. And for those that are listening, that it just sounds so simple. It really is. We get so embroiled in the complication of how it is through
Yeah,
thinking.
yeah. Always through thinking. I love what you're hearing there, Becca. Yeah. Yeah, and it's good. It's good to hear it in a fresh way, in a different way. Like I always liken that to the serum going in. It's like, the serum goes in again and we kind of hear it at a new level. But how cool was your description of the us trying to push the button on the elevator and it malfunctioning? Like, that's the piece where we get in trouble because people tend to think that they need to fix their level of consciousness. They need to get the elevator back up. And that's interfering with God. Just as we don't need to beat our own hearts, just as we don't need to um, digest our food and be paying attention to how that's happening, if we can just always realize and trust, it's okay. It's a drop. It's a drop in consciousness, which means it's a drop in mood. Like, I'm not going to be at the same level of mood all day long. And we leave it alone, it goes up. So that was beautiful. That was lovely, Becca. Thank you. And just while you're here, Becca is a former mastermind participant. Our mastermind is going to start tomorrow, friends, just in case any of you are mulling about it. But Becca, you've been touching, from what I see, your space of mastermind. I mean, you've gone on to create things. Do you want to share a wee bit about that?
Yeah. I think when I did your mastermind, I was in a position where I really needed the formula to create a successful business, right? And I think it's so innocent as coaches. That's what we want to do. I love it when you say about we're not selling crack cocaine because I think we really need it really looks like that. We act like that, right? We act like we're drug dealers because, you know, it really what we do share here is life changing. It really, really is. And people don't think that well-being is built into them, into their design. They think it's outside of them, and our whole culture, our whole society is pretty much set up that it's an external thing. So I think, it's a disservice to not tell people what we do. And I think when I did your mastermind course, I was looking for a formula. And I remember when I first started, within the first session, I realized that what you were showing us was bigger than a formula. You were showing us how to access that you call mastermind or wisdom or gut. And I think one of the first things I did to improve my business was to go and lie on the sofa and do nothing because I'd been trying really, really hard to because I cared. I wanted to build a really successful business. And you know, I'm still listening to downloads. I'm still waiting and trusting. And since I did your mastermind class, which I highly recommend it because it's powerful. You are with other people that are looking in the same direction. And there's this energy that we tap into as a group that I don't think you can kind of explain unless give it a whirl. But it's really, there's just intuition that flows during the sessions. And off the back of the mastermind, after I was lying on a sofa a few more times than I would have done in the past, it came to me about my podcast and the thought trap was born. So, yeah, it
Yeah.
was, and I'm loving it.
Yeah. Yeah. That was a totally inspired action, actually. I really I really saw you move in that direction so effortlessly. So drop a link to your podcast, Becca, because
Oh,
such a good podcast, and I see you continuing to access your mastermind and show up in the world in a confident way. So thank you for sharing that. I
thank
appreciate
you.
that. Yeah, lovely. Who else has a question or a comment or a yes, but Grace, what about this situation? Or maybe you have something that you're dealing with at the moment that you might like some coaching on. I'm open to that too. Just let me know. Anybody? Kathy, lovely to see you. Come
Hey
on.
there. Hello. Uh, hello, everybody. Um, yeah, I don't quite know where to start. I, I think I'm. I feel like over the last couple of months, so much has shifted for me, and I think that's been a combination of really stopping thinking and just listening a lot more and really deep listening for myself. So what you talked about today was exactly what I needed to hear and follows on from listening to some works of Dr. Mark Howard this morning. So it's great. And my wanting to see more of the miracles in my life. And so this is all coming for me, which is great. And I just feel much more, I mean, you'll know I've had these discussions with you about am I meant to be a coach and all of that sort of thing, which has really shifted. And I'm now, yes, I know I'm meant to be a coach, which in itself is great. So I'm not seeking clarity around that. It's more now, more the kind of exploration of ideas. Well, what do I do? Um, and I know it's what do I do next? And I know I've got some ideas, and I know it's the sort of deep listening into the wisdom of what is the next best thing to do. Um, so I'm happy to have any coaching thoughts around that, if that would be helpful.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I love that you shifted from am I meant to be a coach? Because I think when you came into the last mastermind, and that was a big question for you.
Mhm.
And I think that's a place people go when they drop or it's not working out. Oh, am I meant to be doing this? Like it's not working out. Am I meant to, maybe I'm not meant to do this. Um, But we start to see, that there's a difference between the mastermind within us speaking, which you might refer to as your wisdom, and everything else in your head. And so the fact that you've gotten that question off the table, Kathy, allows now for no resistance. Now you're at the next level. Can you see that? And the next level is ideas. Oh, which one do I want to follow? Oh, this would be good or that would be good. What do I do? What can I do? So just to be a little more specific with your question, um, is is there something about your ideas that you want some clarity around?
Um, Probably. I mean, I just have a sort of bunch of, I'm not going to judge myself, but they're not very original ideas. But nothing is pulling me in a particular direction. So I guess I'm sort of just looking for, um, I don't know, is it support? Is it reassurance? So that's okay. And that doing a bit of a number of different things, if that feels okay, is okay to do. Um,
Yeah. Yeah, like you want to appreciate that you've opened the floodgates because you're no longer in this questioning, which really, again, lack of confidence, elevator goes down, we start questioning and doubting what we're doing. You've shifted beyond that. You've seen something or heard something within our conversations that has allowed for the floodgates to open in terms of ideas. Now, be careful with this one. Then the mind starts to look for a new problem.
Mhm.
Oh, okay. Let me see how I can get this complicated again. Let me see, how I can um, rev myself up with a new set of self-doubt. So we just want to be aware of that, Kathy. Having too many ideas is a much better problem than having no ideas and wondering if you should be a coach.
Mm, mm.
Okay. Is there an idea? Or let me ask you this. Are you clear on what you want to offer or serve people with? Is that bit clear to you yet?
Yes, that's clear. And the thing
Tell us
that's really
about that.
coming up, well,
Oh,
I'm a
tell me.
women's empowerment coach. So it really is looking specifically at the thinking that we've had around our conditioning as women is the
Okay.
thing that's cluttering up our heads. So it's moving away from that, and where that has shifted more now for me is much more into the understanding of the role of thinking rather than the detail of that thinking. But that's a sort of entry point for me with the women I work with. Although interestingly, I have just signed a new client who is a man. So that's interesting for me that I'm seem to be energetically open for that, and I am.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think because where I'm feeling very much at the moment is wanting to deepening into connection. As I'm deepening into connection with myself and my understanding, it's wanting to deepen more into true connection with others, and how I can serve through that. So I guess that's the direction that if I'm exploring any ideas, it's how to take that next step, whether that's deepening the connections with the people that I already know or maybe have already worked with, or whether it's opening up to new people, or whether it's staying with people who are in my orbit. Excuse me, but maybe I would like to deepen a connection with just generally anyway.
What do you see that people get as a result of coaching with you? So we know you're about empowerment. Life doesn't care if you only want women. Life's going to send you people that need this understanding, right? But it's always helpful to, what I said, pick a lane when you're starting. So we know you're about women's empowerment. We know that you've seen something around the role of thought on a deeper level that can help humans. Great, very important. What would you like or hope that people would end up at as a result of working with you?
Well, interesting that the topic again for today is self. It really is about finding the true inner confidence. So back that from lots of different directions about what confidence means. But I feel like if you have that confidence in knowing how our mastermind inner wisdom, the world works in that way, then then we can manage it. Right. So it really is around helping come to that place by clearing out the anxiousness and the overwhelm and the stress and the overthinking.
Brilliant. Okay. So you're clear on what you're doing with people. Now you're craving more connection. What does that mean? What does that mean to you?
Good question. I know that I come alive when I have good connection. and whether that is, it's just deep and meaningful conversations. Oh, where have you gone? That might have some impact, but certainly make me feel like I have shifted some insights in for myself, and hopefully for others, creating more of a closeness and intimacy that means that they are able to be more open with themselves and open up to insights. And
so what I hear in that is you're looking for more clients, so you can do more of that. You can have more of that connection. You can be more in that feeling. You can experience more confidence yourself, and they can awaken to that deeply. So the objective is the clearer objective is you'd like to work with more clients because it's going to give you a deep connection. You see how how in integrity that is as well. You're not looking for more clients so you can cross your $100,000 goal and feel good about yourself finally. You're looking for deeper connection. You're looking for people to experience this with you.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
Yeah. So what if you were allow yourself, Kathy, to just first of all, you've been through the mastermind, so you know when your mastermind is speaking to you. Your mastermind within is going to bring you an action step. Nobody can give you that action step. You've got it within you. You're going to hear or know a direction that ends up at your objective, meeting your objective. More clients, please, deeper connection, thank you. And your only focus right now is that you allow yourself not to get busy-minded about which idea do I follow, but rather, gosh, I'm really clear I'd like more connection in the form of more clients. Let's see how this is going to pan out. Let's see what my mastermind brings me as an action step. Let me be alert to what feels alive when the divine download drops in, or what feels alive when I think about it. What feels exciting or inspiring or even just gentle when I start to look in this direction. But I'm going to keep my focus on what I desire, and that is more connection in the form of more clients. Does that make sense at all? Does that resonate?
Yes, it does. And it almost then already feels like the next step of, because I've talked about deepening connections, and that's been a very big thing for me for a long time. And I feel that's really deepening and enriching itself. And alongside that, one of the things that I know I was speaking to you about and others on the group about, how do I know what I want and how do I express what I want? So what I just heard there is really quite specific, sort of linking those two things up, of the wanting the connection and the taking of the next step of like, well, okay, well, let's have that with some client work. Being more specific and focused on linking those two things, which maybe I haven't been seeing as clearly.
Well, this seem connected to me. You know, you're on this journey of building your coaching business. You don't just suddenly have a desire for deep connection. That is divinely implanted in you. Because if the divine were to simply implant more clients, you would maybe have resistance to that. You might have some thinking about that. But it's like it's implanted in us, the thing that's going to drive us to be of service. And in your case, you crave deeper connection. You know, the thing that drove me at the very beginning of my business that was implanted was, totally what the world might say is a bit shallow, but I was like, I want luxury hotels. I want luxury. I want beauty. I want style. That was the driving force of me saying to the world, if you want to work with me, you can join me in Saint-Tropez at this luxury hotel. If you want to work with me, I'll be at the Beverly Hills Hotel for 2 weeks in LA. If you want to work with me, you can join me in New York at the Waldorf Astoria. Now, if I had judged that divine download about, then I don't know that there would have been an awful lot of fuel if I simply heard, um, get clients, Grace. Go and get clients. That wouldn't have been inspiring to me, you see?
Mm.
So you can trust what you're feeling and have been feeling for quite some time, Kathy.
Mhm.
That's totally connected with you becoming of greater service to the world.
Mm.
Totally connected. And now you get to rest easy and ask for your mastermind. How would you have me reach more clients?
Mm.
How would you have me experience this deeper connection with more people?
Mhm.
And you will have your step. Nobody's missing a step. I love this line from the Bible, and I'm not very biblical, but it says, He who has started a great work in you will see it through to completion. The work has been started in you. It will be seen through to completion. Our job is to keep getting out of the way. Is that helpful?
Mm. Yes, it's very helpful. And as you say it, I really noticed that one of the things that's shifted is that I've become a lot more patient. That idea of the impatience of what, when, how, who, get on with it, all of that sort of stuff. That's really shifted. And the other thing I heard was I like the sort of connection as fuel. There was something in there, I think. But yeah.
Yeah, a
Mm.
beautiful fuel. Your
Mm.
unique fuel for growing this business. And then the lovely question becomes, show me how to grow my connection. Maybe you don't want to say grow my client base, but ultimately that's what's going to happen, right? It's like, show me how to grow my connection. Show me how to be in connection with my service. Okay? Like you asked the question for you,
Mm.
but it's within you because you came into the mastermind and you had doubt, and you've way surpassed all of that. You're now at a new level where you're asking a different question. You see that?
Yep.
So trust that, Kathy.
Yep.
Well done, sweetheart.
Thank you. Thanks for your help in getting me here.
It's my pleasure. I love working with you. Um, for those of you that are interested, I'll just pop the link in now, but our mastermind, a lot of you are in the mastermind, so I'm excited to be with you tomorrow, but there are some details there if you're curious. This mastermind to support your thriving coaching business in a way that is enjoyable commences tomorrow. So if you'd like to be with us, this is an opportunity to be there and to do it in a graceful way. I'll let you read the info in your own time. It's gracefulcoaching.net/thriving coach. So yeah, I look forward to seeing a lot of you there. So who's next? Anyone else with a question or a comment or anything about confidence? Want to share something on confidence? Are you all feeling more fueled with confidence? Isabel.
I was trying to find the hand. I finally found it. Yeah, I wanted to share what has happened to me after we um, discussed a download. It was a very new process to me in the sense that I got started talking about Deepak Chopra and saying how I appreciate what he does, but his meditation felt to me very technical. And all the people I know who are used to do his meditation are used to practicing this meditation as a technique. We do need 1 hour a day to be able to finish the day properly. And you made me realize that what I noticed was an indication that there was an urge in me to share what Cinebanks shared with words, with meditation, in order to share the 3 principles, not at the level of the description, but at the level of the good feeling. And then you said something like, well, actually, you are the Deepak Chopra of the 3 principles. And I was really shocked. I think at first I didn't even understand the remark because I thought, I'm not Deepak Chopra. And I was really lost because I was stuck in the celebrity issue. But what I wanted to say is that it settled in me because it opened the door to the real ecstatic feeling I have when I create this meditation. And it feels so natural. I was in Viva, I heard Marina talking about her message, and then all of a sudden it converted itself into a meditation. And I realized that since then I have had no issue with confidence. And it feels very appealing for me to share this meditation without being apologetic or trying to hide as if I were dealing cocaine, as you are saying. So even though the lift is going up and down, of course it does. It remains at a much higher level, and it feels that regarding this particular part of what wants to be expressed through me, it hardly ever goes down. So I wanted to first to thank you so much and then to share this experience with you.
Thank you, Isabel. I'm so delighted. That's incredible. And yeah, we do, what I'm hearing in your share is a point that I'd like to just reinforce with us all here is that, when we're not making it about ourselves, we are naturally confident. We know the idea that we want to follow. And I hear that you've done that, you've done that as you've gone along and you've followed your creations, and these meditations are coming into being. And thank you. You sent me one today. I will get to that. I'm excited for that. But you see, it's like, oh, when I'm not thinking about little me, the world's my oyster. Now I'm in service to humanity. Now I'm looking at how I can help and serve. Now I'm letting the download come through and work her magic. Oh, I'm excited. Bonnie's got her hand up too. We do have a little bit of time, so delighted to have you here, Bonnie. Isabel, thank you, sweetheart, and I'll see you tomorrow. Come on.
Hi. I just wanted to say that I didn't know that this inner mastermind existed before I was working with you and in the mastermind. I, for context, was very like, let me see what best practices and let me look for things outside of myself to figure out like what I should do. And since getting in touch with the mastermind and like quieting down all the thoughts and the thinking, like I just have heard and been like directed on like what to do. And I did not expect it at all. Once things quieted down for me, I just kind of heard that I should, have bariatric surgery to lose weight and get my some medical issues I had back in shape, basically. And even though I had a lot of thinking about it beforehand, it just like came to me like that was the right thing to do. And in about a week, it'll be 1 year since the surgery, and I'm down over 100 pounds. And I have corrected the medical issues that I had. Talking about like confidence, like the inner mastermind, it's amazing that there's something there. And I had some issues with religious baggage. So, it had made it especially hard for me to come to the fact that there was something, because I was like, how do I separate that from like religion, and what is God to me? And like, I just hear the mastermind now. I'm like, I'm not looking outside of myself anymore for what to do. I mean, in fact, some of the things that have come up are not even things that I would have planned to do. I got inspired to start working on a YouTube channel to help people that are losing weight, either through medical weight loss, like surgery, or medications, to help them through the emotional, mental, spiritual part of it. And that is not something I would have ever come up with, like kind of on my own. I've never been like, I'm gonna start a YouTube channel, and I am not somebody to be on video. In fact, I was very afraid of putting myself out there. I've also finally decided, like, I don't know, I just got the confidence to quit hiding. And I started writing on my Substack about this understanding and what I've taken from it. And my message has become really clear of like, you're not broken. Once I realized that there was nothing wrong with me and I wasn't broken, it just felt like I could do anything. It's so funny you said the world is my oyster, because that's exactly the phrase I used a couple days ago. It's just been incredible, like the things that have come to me. I even found out that my mother-in-law read my Substack. I had no idea. Like, talk about the person you are worried about thinking about what you think about. Like, the person I was the most worried about, like, oh my God, what is my family going to think if I'm visible and I talk about this, and is this weird? And she actually brought up that she had read something that I'd wrote, and talked about it like in the family gathering this past weekend when we were visiting. And I was proud, weirdly. Like, I was like, oh, she read it and she liked it and it made sense to her. And like, she didn't tell me she read it. Like, I mean, yeah, I'm Facebook friends with her, but I didn't think about she would be reading it. So I've been visible in a way that I wasn't before. I mean, I felt like I did nothing for the last few years, and all of a sudden, all this direction has come in. And in fact, my wife is leaving her job and December 3rd, and we bought an RV, and we're going to travel around the country, and we're going to work on our coaching businesses. And we're going to do something with a relationship. We just celebrated our 16th anniversary 2 days ago. And we're going to do relationship coaching through like the lens of traveling in an RV in a small space. And, not like, oh, this is how you work your RV, but about, why we want to do it. And just what we've learned unexpectedly through this mastermind too. And just, I don't know, it's been amazing. And I mean, I'm doing it again, because how could I not? So I just wanted to just say that I feel like I'm such a different person. We were talking about that on the drive back to where we are right now, that like, I feel like so much has changed in the last like 12 months. It's unbelievable. So I just wanted to mention that.
Oh, well, thank you. It's beautiful to hear that, Bonnie. Really beautiful. See, this is what I love about, like, we can really trust ourselves when we start hearing that voice within. I just happen to like to call it that mastermind within, but when we start to hear that voice of truth, all resistance falls away. You know, like I just hear you in the natural experience of what occurs when you are listening to that inner knowing and direction more and more, you know. And I think it's amazing the fact that you had a lot of thinking about doing that surgery, and that's exactly what your mastermind brought you, and successfully a year on, and now you're going to help others with all of this. So thank you for sharing your experience. That's really lovely, Bonnie, and delighted that I'll be with you again tomorrow. Everybody, thank you for your presence today. I really hope that what was shared is heard in a way that supports you going forward in the coming month. I'm looking forward to being with you on the 2nd of December for, I think it's Tuesday the 2nd is our last coaching clinic of the year. And if you have questions in between, get in touch. If you want information about the mastermind that I've touched on a bit more today, get in touch, grace@gracefulcoaching.net. And for the rest of you, I'll see you there tomorrow. Bye, everybody. Lots of love. Bye.